Salutations, Nyasha. How are you? Okay, so we're going to do a quick reading comprehension lesson. It's going to be very brief. And I found this book in the library and I thought you would love it. It's Zendaya is her real name, but you love her from Casey Undercover, right? And also Zapped, right? And Shake It Up. So those are some of the movies she did, but her real name is actually Zendaya. She's an actress and a singer. She's really, really talented, as you know, because I wouldn't know anything about her if it wasn't for you. But I found this really, really brief biography on her, and I thought you'd like to hear it, and so I wanted to share it with you. So before we start reading, let's look at some words to know and our table of contents. Our words to know is the same thing as our glossary. Those are our key terms. Our glossary gives us definitions. It's an in-book dictionary, and which we've done it before. So this is our glossary. The interesting thing is that in this book, it's actually in the front as opposed to being in the back. Okay? And so here's some of the words that we may hear as we read. And I'm not going to read the whole book today. I'm only going to read a couple pages because I want you to focus on hearing and then recalling the information. Okay? So let's look at diverse. Diverse means made up of people or things that are different from each other. Finale, the last show. Hula, a Hawaiian dance. Influential, being able to have an effect. Nominate, to suggest for an honor. A producer is a person who's in charge of making a play, movie, or record. Racism is treating people poorly or unfairly because of their race. That's not something we like to do, right? Of course not. Trapeze, a short bar that is hung high above the ground by two ropes. A circus performer does tricks on it. So that's a very short glossary, but the glossary again provides key terms, the definitions of key terms that you may come across in the book. And you see they're bolded, right? So that lets you know that that's an important word that you should remember. Okay, now our table of contents tells us where we can locate different information in the book. So we have words to know on page 2. In chapter 1, a triple threat starts on page 5. Chapter 2 starts on what page? That's right, page 9. Okay, chapter 3 starts on what page? Page 13. Chapter 4 starts on what page? Page 17. We can find a timeline on page 22. We can figure out where to learn more about her on page 23. And the index kind of tells us if there's particular topics that are outside the chapter. Let's look at the index. The index gives us like specific things, like that they may not be necessarily covered. Like we know that she talks about singing and dancing, but if you'd like to know the name of one of her videos, you might want to look it up in the index. So if you look in the back of the index, it's very brief, but it's by letter, so it's alphabetized. And so that's also why we practice our alphabet, not just to learn the alphabet, but to also figure out how we put things in order. Remember, we would put our terms, our words in alphabetical order. That's another skill to help you be able to use all the resources that are available to you when you read. Okay? So we're going to really start with the first chapter. We're going to read the first chapter today, okay? And then I'll ask you 2 questions about it. All right? Okay. All right. Here we go. When people meet Zendaya, they're amazed at how talented she is. She is what is known as a triple threat. She dances, she sings, and she acts. But the young star also has other interests. She works to fight racism and encourages young people to have a healthy body image. She uses her fame to make people aware of her causes. Zendaya says, "For me, I get a mixture of all the worlds. I have my African first name. I have a middle name that is my mom's middle name, which is French, but we did it with an African spelling. So it's literally me and a name." So she's mixed. And remember we talked about people not being afraid of the fact that people are different. Well, people can be mixed up in all kind of ways. So she's both biracial and bicultural. She has, two different cultures she represents, probably more than that, and then also two different races. So she uses that to kind of help see how she works through the world. Just like you having epilepsy, just like having mommy and daddy not living in the same place, you living with dad sometime, you living with mom sometime, all of those things impact the way you see the world. And so that's what she's saying. She's like, I have this diverse background. I have these different experiences that I have that has shaped the way I live and experience the world. So now I have a quick question about this page. I'm going to read it one more time. I'm going to read the paragraph again because I kind of went off on a tangent. Like I'm working on it. All right. So I went off on a tangent, but I'm going to read the paragraph again. And then I'm not gonna read the caption. I'm just gonna read the paragraph, and then I'm gonna ask you a question, and I want to see if you can remember. All right. When people meet Zendaya, they're amazed at how talented she is. She is what is known as a triple threat. She dances, she sings, she acts. But the young star also has other interests. She works to fight racism and encourages young people to have a healthy body image. She uses her fame to make people aware of her causes. Okay, so in that paragraph right there, a lot of information was given. We found out the proper spelling of her name. We found out what she likes to do, and we also found out, well, like what she likes to do in Hollywood, but then what she likes to do personally. Like, what's her bigger goal? What's the bigger thing that she's after? Her greatest aspiration. Um, so I want to ask you a quick question. All right, and we're going to practice using our keywords to formulate a complete answer. Why is Zendaya considered? I'm sorry. Why is Zendaya considered a triple threat? Did you hear me? The question is, why is Zendaya considered a triple threat? Why is Zendaya considered a triple threat? Why is Zendaya considered a triple threat? Okay, so let's take a look. So let's look at what would be our keywords. So if you were responding to this question, you're going to look for your keywords first. So we know we're going to use her name because we want to write in a complete sentence. Zendaya is considered a triple threat. Okay, so those are the keywords. Now we're going to take those keywords and start our response. Zendaya is considered a triple threat because, okay, Zendaya is considered a triple threat because, okay, do you see that? Zendaya is considered a triple threat because, okay? Zendaya is considered a triple threat because. Now, if you just answer the question from that point, it should be a complete sentence. And I told you no more fragments, no more segments. It should be a complete sentence each time you write, okay? So Zendaya is considered a triple threat because what? If we reflect back on what we read, and if you were writing, if you were sitting next to me and this was our book, I would probably have you highlight. It says right here, she is what is known as a triple threat. She dances, she sings, and she acts. Okay? She dances, she sings, and she acts. All right, so those are the three things. So triple is another word for three. So she does three things, okay? Because she what? Because she dances, sings, and acts. Okay? Period. So now, as you can recall, we were able to write the first part of the sentence without really even knowing what our answer was, just by taking the keywords and using that as the stem for our sentence, for our response. So that's why it's so important for you to identify those keywords. The same way we use the keywords to write our topic sentence, when we get a writing prompt, you use the keywords to start your answer. So that way you are always writing in complete sentences. Okay? So our answer is Zendaya is considered a triple threat because she dances, sings, and acts. So I'm going to read the paragraph to you one more time and you'll hear it again. So it says, when people meet Zendaya, they're amazed at how talented she is. She is what is known as a triple threat. She dances, she sings, and she acts. But the young star also has other interests. She works to fight racism and encourages young people to have a healthy body image. She uses her fame to make people aware of her causes. Okay? Let's go to the next page. A shy child. Zendaya Marie Stormer was born on September 1st in 1996 in Oakland, California. Her parents are Kasimbe Ajumu Coleman and Claire Stormer. Zendaya was a very shy child. She even had to repeat kindergarten because of her shyness. But the quiet little girl loved to perform in front of people. So let's read it again. Zendaya Marie Stormer was born on September 1st, 1996 in Oakland, California. Her parents are Kasimbe Ajumu Coleman and Claire Stormer. Zendaya was a very shy child. She even had to repeat kindergarten because of her shyness, but the quiet little girl loved to perform in front of people. Zendaya poses with her parents. Her name means to give thanks in the language of the Shona people of Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is a country on the continent of Africa. Okay, so this is what's called, again, a caption. So when we're reading, captions are usually used to give us information about the illustrations. Okay, so you see how the caption tells us a little bit more about what's happening in the picture. Zendaya is in the middle and she's posing with her father and her mom. Okay, so I read the paragraph. I can read it to you once more. Zendaya Marie Stormer was born on September 1st, 1996 in Oakland, California. Her parents are Kasimbe Ajumu Coleman and Claire Stormer. Zendaya was a very shy child. She even had to repeat kindergarten because of her shyness, but the quiet little girl loved to perform in front of people. So we just got a lot more information about her. Okay, we found out her birthday, which is September 1st, 1996, her birth date, September 1st, 1996. We found out where she was born, Oakland, California. We found out her parents' name, Kasimbe Ajumu Coleman and Claire Stormer. And we found out another very important fact. We found out a description of her personality. So that's my next question. Question number 2. Okay. How was Zendaya's personality described when she was a child? Okay. How was Zendaya's personality described? Described. That means we're looking for what type of word? Is it going to be a noun, a verb, or an adjective? If we're describing. Did you say adjective? Then you're absolutely correct. We're going to look for an adjective because we're describing. Okay? How was Zendaya's personality described when she was a child? Zendaya's personality was described, So now, you need to take the keywords and we're going to start our sentence stem for our answer. Okay? How was Zendaya's so our question is, how was Zendaya's personality described when she was a child? So we're going to take our keywords. Okay? Zendaya's personality, Zendaya's personality was described when she was a child. So now we say Zendaya's personality was described as blank when she was a child. Okay? Zendaya's personality was described as blank when she was a child. So now I'm going to read it to you again, and I know that adjective is just going to jump right out at you. Okay? So let's listen to it again. Zendaya Marie Stormer was born on September 1st, 1996 in Oakland, California. Her parents are Kasimbe Ajumu Coleman and Claire Stormer. Zendaya was a very shy child. She even had to repeat kindergarten because of her shyness. But the quiet little girl loved to perform in front of people. So what is the adjective that stands out that described her personality? It described how she was. Remember, adjectives kind of give us a detail, gives us information, and it's an adjective that you often use to describe yourself sometimes. What's that word? And it starts with a blend. Shh. Do you remember? I'm certain you do. Shy. Shy is the adjective that describes Zendaya's childhood personality. So we can fill that in. All right, so now we have a complete response. Zendaya's personality was described as shy when she was a child. Okay? Zendaya's personality was described as shy when she was a child. Okay? So those are the two questions that I want to answer. Now I'm just going to finish reading a bit more to you so we can finish up this first chapter. And I know, and even if we don't finish the rest of it, I just thought I would find something that, I think you like reading about the other people too, because it was stuff you're interested in. But I just saw this book and I thought you would really like it. Getting on stage. Zendaya's mother was a stage manager at a theater. Young Zendaya spent a lot of time there. She performed in its youth program and had parts in some shows. She was also in a dance group and enjoyed dancing hula. Zendaya attended the Oakland School for the Arts. She also trained with the American Conservatory Theater. She modeled and acted in commercials too. She was busy. Whew. In 2010, Zendaya got her big break. She beat out about 200 girls to get a part on Disney Channel's series Shake It Up. She played the role of Raquel, Rocky Blue. She and co-star Bella Thorne performed songs for the show. It was a hit. Okay, so Zendaya and her Shake It Up co-star Bella Thorne, the two played backup dancers on the television show. So this was like her first big break. She had done little stuff. And remember when I tell you that's why your behavior is so important, listening and being focused, so I can get you involved in activities, because Zendaya practiced and she was trained so that when she had an opportunity, she was able to do very well. So that's something that I know that you can do because you're amazing and I know that you can do it. Okay, so let's read. This is the last part of the first chapter. Role model. For one commercial, Zendaya performed as a backup dancer for another future star, Selena Gomez. Role model. When Zendaya was 16, the Disney Channel asked her to be in another show, Super Awesome Katie. Zendaya would play a teen spy, but she decided she wanted a say in this show. She asked to be a producer. She wanted the show to have more diverse characters. She was also behind the show changing its name to Casey Undercover, which we used to watch with Kareem Harrison. Zendaya wanted her character to be unique and strong. Casey was a math genius who was great at martial arts. Zendaya was proud to help create a character of color who was a role model. So, when you loved watching that show, and so she deliberately chose that show because she wanted to inspire little girls just like you, knowing that if you all were able to see her. And remember we talked about Leland Copeland kind of feeling a little bit discouraged about being an astronaut because he didn't see a lot of people on television that looked like him. Zendaya is concerned that there be other people that people are able to see people who look like them. So she's both biracial. She identifies as black and she can identify as white, and she wants little black children, all children, to be able to see her and say, hey, if Zendaya is doing it, I can do it too. So that's an important story to tell. And so that's why it's important that we see all kinds of people and we're able to embrace difference so that everyone knows that the sky is the limit, regardless of where you come from or what you look like. It's really important. So let's see. We can read through. Okay, we can read through. We can continue. So, singing and dancing star. Zendaya is not just a talented actor. She started her singing career in 2009 with the Kids Bop albums. You remember our Kids Bop album? We used to listen to it. She signed a recording deal with Hollywood Records in 2012. She released her first album the next year. It was called Zendaya. She performed concerts around the United States, making music. In February of 2016, Zendaya released the song Something New with Chris Brown. It was nominated for Best Song at the Teen Choice Awards. Fans can't wait for Zendaya's next album. She says she wants to take her time making music. I'm kind of creating my own music and I'm kind of creating my own zone, my own lane as an artist, she explains. So I'm going to stop there because I really want to read chapter 2 tomorrow, and then we'll ask some more questions. So again, whenever you watch the video, you can always message me or you can call me. Ask your dad to let you call me so that we can talk about it. I think I've pretty much we answered a couple questions about it, and I think that's gonna wrap it up. That'll wrap up this video for today. I love you. I love you. I love you. I know that you're brilliant. I know you're doing amazing things, and I know there's nothing that you can't do. I'd also like to hear about your Ramona book. Tell me how far along you are in the book and how much you've read and what's happened. Okay? So I love you. I love you. I love you. And I hope to speak to you soon. Have a great day. Peace.